Hey guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of Mad Scientist and Legend of Ashley Fox. And yesterday on here, for some reason, I said that these were 20 years old. I started writing this one 20 years ago. This one came out in 2011, this one came out in 2013. And Jay and I did this in 2015, so this is 9 years old. And these are over a decade old. And I got another chapter done last night, so I'm really happy. But I'm also a little frustrated. I gotta be honest. This is a hard hill to climb, and I've been trying to do it for a long time. Trying to do it, but I haven't been doing it. So what is it that I lack? Is it the art? Is it the story? Is it both? Do you have to be able to write and draw in order to write comics, in order to write for the studios, or in order to sell comics? I don't know. We're going to find out. This is Conan the Barbarian 200, and this is Jim Owsley again with Val Semekis, or Semekis, I don't know how to say his name, Semekis. He's really good. I love this guy's artwork. He is a fantastic artist. And this is the Devourer of Souls. I love this character, but this story is not even a story. This is a jumbled mess. This is a flashback, 2 pages of flashbacks where Conan, a 2-page spread flashback, where Conan and his ensemble cast are facing the Devourer of Souls, and Thulsa Doom is working with Conan, and Conan has a magic sword. So in this book, Conan has joined up with his enemies and is using their weapons against another enemy, the Devourer of Souls. Conan taunts him, says, well, why don't you just do it? Why don't you just kill me? And the Devourer of Souls then detonates an explosion at essentially ground zero at Conan and his friends. And then the Devourer of Souls is shocked. Oh my God, you weren't hurt by my power blast. Who is shielding you? And it is the sword that Conan holds that has protected him and all his friends. So then he and the Devourer of Souls fight for a bit. They get transported out to some other realm where Conan faces him again. And then the Devourer of Souls is portal jumped to another place where he has to deal with another demon. Zulti, I believe is this demon's name. And then Conan's friends, Red Sonja and so, whoever, are questioning what's going on. Where are they? What is all this? What are they doing? What is our goal? Where are we going? This is a 40-page book. And it wasn't advertised. This is just Marvel like, dude, we got to get done with this shit. We got to get this over with. What if we make issue 200 twice the size it usually would be? There must not have been a good middle ending. I do know where the middle ending is. I'm going to show it to you in just a sec. Hold on. Got caught up. Too many ads. Yeah, so this is where we were. All the members of Conan's crew state their future goals. What are we going to do? Thulsa Doom immediately starts fucking black magic, messing shit up again. He's got some plot going on. Here he is negotiating with this demon Zulti, who has kidnapped the Devourer of Souls. And this is where he is sort of cementing that bargain. This is the Devourer of Souls. Here, the Devourer of Souls gets granted his wish to be turned into a human again. And he's turned into this guy named Acheron. I think we read like some middle issue of this, because I do remember this character, and I know we read some of Jim Owsley's work, because I talked mad shit on this guy before. And this being a double size comic, there's a lot more that happens. Here, Acheron is introduced to all the nobles. He meets, I think this is Count Tresero's daughter, Sophie, something like that, Sophia, who is all in love with this guy, like almost immediately. And he has magical powers, essentially. He's a magical being, so. Yeah, Conan and Sonya are discussing how they have to chase down the Devourer of Souls and they can't let him escape. Conan's kind of really, to say that he's out of character in this book is not enough. It would be better to say that the writer doesn't understand Conan's character in this issue. I want to call it an episode. This is just the blonde girl falling in love with the Devourer of Souls as a human, and it's sort of like his redemption arc. For some reason, Jim Owsley felt the Devourer of Souls needed to be seen as not a villain. And yeah, I don't know why he thought that was necessary, but this is Count Tricero and his daughter, and he is telling her, you need to stay away from, he immediately tells her, I don't trust that guy, stay away from him, you're not to have anything to do with him again. And she breaks down crying, of course. And here we get, what is going on here? Yeah. This kid goes out looking for Conan, who's out hunting. Conan keeps saying, I gotta go out hunting. This would be basically the end of issue 200, and then we would be on to issue 201, because this is pretty much the end. So this is Conan, and the way Conan in this book keeps fit is he goes on hunts and kills game. And that's the source of his power, according to Jim Owsley, apparently. Cool ad right here on the back. But anyhow, then we get the girl goes back to Acheron and tells him how much she loves him, jumps into his arms, and is incinerated. So that, and then here's Zolty. Is that his name? Zolty? Zothel. I think Zoltli was the name of the other ones in one of the other books we read a while ago. In the, what was it? Where the Aztecs, I don't remember. It's stuck in my head. Tarzan? It was Tarzan, wasn't it? No, it was the Red Nails. It was Red Nails. The Zotli were the Red Nails book. That's Conan. And then so here, this demon comes out and tells Acheron, that's your fault. You should have known better. This is the deal you made. And Acheron his skin starts to boil. He's starting to become the demon again. He is the Devourer of Souls. It's the Devourer of Souls spirit in this body. And not able to contain the power. And here Conan catches up with a bunch of skeleton warriors. I think these guys are being raised to defend Acheron, I believe. It's good art. It's good art. It's a shame that it's hinged to such a loose, convoluted story. So yeah, here Acheron becomes the Devourer of Souls again, and we get a good old-fashioned Conan fight. I suppose it's, look, I'm struggling on my own to write interesting 22-page stories. It's not easy. I can do short stories for an epic, but it's a lot harder to do a short story that begins and ends in 22 pages, which is kind of, I'm doing okay doing 2-page stories, but even those, I got to get better and faster at drawing. I have a lot of, I've set a pretty big task ahead of myself. So here, the Devourer of Souls and Conan keep getting teleported to different realms so that Valsamikis can draw more interesting backgrounds for them to have their final fight, which is what they're having. The Devourer of Souls loses his helmet, and we see that his face is just sort of a continuation of his armor. He is the armor, essentially. And Now Conan also has a magic sword, which is why he's able to fight him this long. And here they're recognizing that, oh, it's the sword. This sword is why, blah, blah, blah. And that's the ending. So the sword kills him, and then the sword evaporates, and then we get a really weird one page of Akron is alive again. And this demon, this fire demon tells him that he's got another chance, or not Akron, but the Devourer of Souls is alive as Akron again. So also the girl that they killed is alive again. They did that back here somewhere too. All the PC right here, this girl who had grown up and then was incinerated or something. I don't know. This is a very convoluted book, and I didn't pay very close attention to reading it. Plus, we're jumping in the middle of a story. It's great art. It's great art, and this is a good example of some of the struggles I've got ahead of me. You know, how do you keep it on track? How do you keep it on track to make this relevant, along with all the other nonsense that has to go on? This girl getting evaporated, that was a significant fiction development choice. Sorry, today's video is not so planned out. I don't have as much to say as I did last few days. I do want to touch up on another thing that I got wrong. The Alpha Channel ideals, I only listed 8 of the 9. I'm going to try this again. 1, sit down to write with a clear conscience. You don't need a clear conscience to draw. Absolutely do not. Drawing is technical work, but writing, you're using good and bad as tools. And if you are not in a place where you can navigate between those flawlessly, then it can show up in the story. You can have characters do stupid bad things. You can have characters, you can end up trying to write a redemption arc for an evil character. That's not necessary. I don't think the redemption arc for the Devourer of Souls was necessary for this issue. I think it's more interesting when a bad guy is deliberately bad. When they know they're evil, and they're evil on purpose. Evil on purpose is more interesting than confused evil. Clumsy evil is, that's a tragedy. Deliberate evil is justice. When deliberate evil meets its end, that's justice. So if action is rescue porn, you don't want to rescue them from clumsiness. You want to rescue people from deliberate evil. It raises the stakes. If you're just rescuing people from being clumsy, you really can't save them because they can do that again. So 1, sit down and write with a clear conscience. 2, absolutely love the work that you're doing. Love the story that you're doing. They might have loved the doing of this, but I don't believe that anyone loved this story. I mean, maybe this is the story that was burning in Jim Owsley's soul, but my guess is he did this for a paycheck because he had to get it done. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's kind of the situation I want to be in, but that means I have to do this stuff first because I love it. And right now I'm writing because I love it. And I'm a lot happier doing that. I don't know if I would love writing for a paycheck. I don't know that I could love that. J.K. Rowling, I forgot her name too, the Harry Potter author. And maybe that's because I don't know her first name. Maybe if we knew her first name was Jacqueline or Jasmine or whatever, it might be different. But, so, sit down with a clear conscience, love what you write, don't do it for the money, use nature for inspiration is I think the one that I forgot. Use virtues as the values to tell your story, use virtues as the light and dark, and then don't do agenda, don't put agenda in your work. Finally, number 7, your direction is your destiny. The way you go is where you end up. So if you're going to write stories about X, you're going to become X, and that's what you're going to be known as X. If you're going to write stories about Y, you're going to, if you want to do action comics, that's what you have to do. You can't do romance comics to get into action comics. That doesn't make sense. I was listening to a guy today talking about how if you wait until you've mastered the tools to start your creative journey, Nowadays, that's way too late because the tools are changing much too fast. It used to be that you could master the tools before you got your chance to do the work. That was a way for the people who were doing the work and getting the budgets to keep you out. Gatekeeping is the thing. Budgets are limited. So that's important. The tools are changing really fast now. My whole editing career was on Avid and Final Cut Pro. I know Avid is still being used, but Final Cut isn't. I learned the basics on Final Cut Pro and then moved to Avid. So all of that's, and then when I left working for TV, there was no more Avid editing, there was no more Final Cut Pro editing work to be had. So I went into fashion. I kind of got pulled into fashion. I didn't choose to leave TV. I got hired by a fashion company and then couldn't get back into television. Is really what happened. So that's an important thing too. So what about that? If I had stayed as a Hollywood editor for television shows, I probably never would have published my novels. Probably not. I was writing them while I was working as a Hollywood editor. That's not true. That's clearly not true because I was working on it at the same time. I was really hopeful the novels would get me more work, but that was never going to happen. So that was a foolish thing. It's interesting that people sort of have to choose their medium. Do you know what I mean? And then not stray from it. Which doesn't make sense because you don't see novelists become screenwriters, but you do see their work adapted a lot, So, I don't know. It's all something to ponder. The last two are master the craft, master the tools, and craft the experience. So, and I just contradicted myself, master the tools. Well, the tools are whatever gets you to the work, right? A Wacom tablet is just as good a tool as a pencil. There are different nuances, but, I don't know. I have been thinking also about what I'm doing on here with this channel, coming out here for 2 or 3 people every day, and whether or not it's worth it, because it takes me, it takes a good chunk out of my day. I'm obviously not putting a ton of time into it, but I've also found that I spend a lot of time thinking about this, and every day this is what I have to do as opposed to drawing being what I have to do. So in the new year, I might change this. I might just do drawing and not review comics and come on here for 5 minutes and show off some drawings and that be it. That's probably what's going to happen. I'm running out of comics and I'm running out of comics I'm interested in reading here. Today's I didn't even really give a good review to. This is clearly not a review show. This is what can I steal from your work that came out 20 or 30 years ago. This is God, I can't read that. 5 of Hearts, Conflicted, Deck 2. And it's the end of the world. Your community's doing really well. And some members of your community go missing. You're not sure if they've been kidnapped or if they've wandered out. You don't know what's happened. They've gone missing. In a few days, everyone thinks they're kidnapped. A few days later, you catch a teenage boy around your camp, your community. He says he's looking for food. How far do you go in interrogating him? It's a really simple answer. Does he show you where he lives or not? Until if he tells you that he's on his own, he could be lying to you, but then you have no one you have to take him back to. If he tells you he has family, then he has to show you where he lives. So it's not even an interrogation. It's a really simple negotiation. Show us where you're at, or you become our prisoner. Or we just see, and now if you've got members of your group who've gone missing, maybe he's a recon scout, and if he does live somewhere, he's not going to tell you. So what are you going to do? Are you going to interrogate him? Obviously, if your community has members going missing, security is not your strong suit. So maybe you need an attack. Maybe you need an ambush. Maybe you need to be taken over. There's a lot of ways to look at the end of the world. We're kind of in the end of the world now. Everyone's on their own. So unless I find I contradict myself a lot on this channel. And maybe that's because I say outrageous things that I shouldn't, like everyone's on their own. Clearly people get help. People get help from friends and family. And certain people get help from the government. So, I don't know. Anyhow, see you guys tomorrow.